And bro Francis, this is why we have so many frustration in church. We have so many people who are frustrated because they feel like they are separated, they were separated with God, and they are unable to receive what they expect from God, or the support, the expected support from God. They don't receive it, and they are frustrated because they used to attend the meeting at church. They used to meet the pastor. They used to gather for the prayer, my brother and sister, and they don't understand why things are not working in their life. Meanwhile, if you check properly in their life, they are sinners. They are so deeply related to some sins, my brothers and sisters. Like it is said, sin is not something that is ugly, but sin is very attractive, my brothers and sisters. And sin is putting a separation between you and your God. And I'm going to post the verse just to make it clear, to help someone who is here to understand it in a very deep way, my brother and sister. That as long as you remain linked with some sins in your life, you will never experience the end of God in your life. You will never receive the grace of the Lord upon your life. You will receive what people used to receive, because there are some things that we receive that are mandatory in our life. We receive it every time, like the sun, like the rain, like breath. We receive it. Whatever you are, an evil person or not, you receive it. But as children of God, what you are what you are supposed to get from your Father, who is God, you will never get it in your life, just because you are a sinner. You see, just because you don't make any effort to become a good person, blameless person before your Lord, my brothers and sisters. So be careful. And sin in a Christian life is the source of frustration. Because as a Christian, you expect some wonderful things in your life. You expect that things work perfectly in your life, but it is not the case, just because of your sin. But you never link your failure with the fact that you are a sinner and you don't change in your life. You're still lying, you're still cheating on your partner, you're still stealing at work, you're still doing evil to people, you're still talking on back of everyone. Reason why things are not working, brother and sister. So the only way for you to receive or to go through the blessing is to be respectful before your God, my brothers and sisters. And I'm praising the Lord for this exhortation given by Bro Francis, because it is very clear to everyone, I guess, because we are able now to see how beautiful, how handsome could be the sin, how attractive could be the sin, my brother and sister, but how negative will be also the result of that sin in your life. No way from a sin, my brother and sister. Look at this verse I have just shared. You will never be a true Christian or a true believer or a true child of God as long as you remain connected to your sin. As long as you don't run, you don't remove, you don't withdraw, you don't abandon your wrong habit, your evil. As long as you remain connected to those things that look so beautiful, so attractive, you will never receive the blessing. You will never be a true child of God. You will never get the expected life. The promised life, the promised blessing, all those things that are supposed to come in your life as a child of God. It will be difficult for you to go through those things, only because you prefer to worship the sin. You prefer to worship the evil instead of worshiping God. Every time you do wrong, every time you do evil, my brother and sister, every time you hurt someone, every time it is like you worship your enemy, like you worship the devil, because what you do is not inspired by God. There's only two spirits that can lead, that can inspire you. The first one is God, the second one is the devil. So, brother and sister, you will continue to be a frustrated Christian, and you will never understand why things are not working in your life, why other people are moving ahead, but not you. Why, brother and sister? You will never understand it. And now it is time. God is talking to you. It is time now to turn your face, to turn against all those wrong way, my brother and sister, those wrong things you are doing. We have been told about the sin by Bro Francis. And now, brother and sister, you have to take a decision. The evil you do will bring curse in your life. May God help us to understand this mystery, my brothers and sisters. It is not all about attending church or being someone who is holding a great position in church, or being a pastor, or being I don't know, my brother and sister. It is not all about that. It is about being blameless before God. Whatever your position in church, whatever miracles you are doing, whatever the way you're preaching, it is not all about it, my brother and sister, but only about being respectful before God. Remember that Adam and Eve, they were put in the garden by the Lord himself, and they were in the presence of the Lord. They were hearing the voice of God, but because of the sin, because they disobeyed, they were put outside of the presence of the Lord, outside. And being outside, they started suffering. You see, being outside, many things were lost because of that position. They lost at the same time. And now also, as a child of God, you came on earth with a blessing. And according to the way you are following, my brother and sister, you'll be losing something very special, very precious in your life. And you'll be living the life that you were not supposed to live. You will be going through some bad experiences that you were not supposed to face in your life, my brother and sister. So do not forget who you are, and do not forget that God will be closer only, my brother and sister, if you are a blameless person. And remember the story of Abraham from Genesis chapter 12 until Genesis chapter 18. You will see, my brother and sister, the difference. And what was the cause of the blessing. God requested him to become a blameless person. You see, my brother and sister, he knew the Lord. He received the revelation. He was a prophet. He was praying. He was rich, brother and sister. He could defeat the kings. He met Melchizedek, but he never received his promise until he became blameless. So, my brother and sister, let us be led by the Spirit.